We're just going to start with probably a really easy question. You've had a lot of success since you've lived here in Nashville and growing up, but doing music and throughout your whole career, what's been your favorite memory thus far?
Oh, wow, I couldn't pick one. Oh my gosh. Whenever I come to Nashville, it's just a flood. It's just a flood of memories. I start reliving. Well, I lived here 20 years before I married Shirley and moved to Texas and then New Jersey and then California. But I've been coming back and having other experiences here for the last 50 years since then and more. So, I guess I would have to pick, if I pick one, it would be sitting on the porch swing out at 1209 Lone Oak Road, where I sat many times growing up and many times since. I've often said if I knew I had 1 hour left to live and I could pick the place I'll spend that 1 hour, it will be on the swing, on the porch where I grew up, where Mom and Daddy and my brother and sisters and I were so close, where I met and brought Shirley home when I met her at Lipscomb, and where I've been back time after time during all the years that my family got together over, and we still own that house. My sister lives there now. I don't ever stay in a hotel here in Nashville. I just stay and sleep upstairs in what was the attic. Now is a fully furnished second floor where actually my sister lives now, and that's her home. She owns it with me, and so that I would sit right there on that porch swing and relive maybe 60 years right there on that porch swing.
It's an easy life, it sounds like, very relaxing.
Oh, so, yeah.
For sure, it sounds nice. But, well, it sounds like you're a very simple man out of all this fame. You've had this one little moment that is just the best. How are you able to keep all that integrity and just be so down to earth with all this fame?
Well, I was well grounded. My parents taught me what was true and real, and I was in church my whole life, and I was going to be a teacher-preacher, I thought. That's what I was planning to do when Shirley and I married at 19. And I won a talent contest, and to my amazement, I didn't expect to win it, but then I won it 3 times, the Ted Mack Amateur Hour. That led to a recording contract. The very first record was a top 10 million selling hit called Two Hearts, Two Kisses. The next was a #1 record, Ain't That a Shame, Fats Domino's hit, R&B. And I found myself singing rock and roll, having hit after hit. Elvis was my opening act in 1956. I had, in 1957, I was making movies, going to school at Columbia University, having babies, and being the youngest guy ever to have his own network television show. All of this, a crazy, frantic fantasy. But I was still going to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, and being married to a Christian woman and having kids, and with the responsibility of trying to get them started right, kept my feet on the ground all this time. So I never have done any kind of drugs, never been drunk. I'm not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even though I had more rock and roll records and hits than some that are in there. But because I did not live a rock and roll lifestyle. And that kind of disqualified me.
Hey, well, you stayed true to yourself, so
Yeah.
that's good. And I was actually reading something about you. It said you had never been drunk before, what you said, but you knew what it felt like to be drunk.
Well, yeah, I tell you why that is. I did a movie with Debbie Reynolds, Tony Curtis, Walter Matthau, and the scene called for me to get drunk by opening a bottle of champagne and sharing it with Debbie Reynolds. The director had me keep doing it, take after take after take, with real champagne. And Tony Curtis, I didn't realize why, he wasn't filming that day, but he stood behind the camera having some joke and laughing continually with the director while I got steadily looped. And it's amazing, they took a chance that doing what they were doing, that I would wind up being able to do the lines, because I might have gotten so soused that I couldn't have done the lines and it would all been wasted time. But I didn't. But I did drive home very carefully from the studio that night. And I didn't like the feeling. So that was the only time.
The one time. We'll let that slide then.
Yeah.
But talking about people trying to stay level-headed, especially in today's society when things are totally different from an artist perspective, what's some advice maybe that you can give some singer-songwriters or artists today who maybe are in the spotlight but can't really keep grounded and stay true to themselves?
Well, this may sound to some too pious or religious, but I've been asked by so many kids, boys, girls with stars in their eyes wanting to be successful. How did you do it? How can I do it? And I say, look, I can only tell you how I did it, and I recommend it strongly to you. Make God your agent. Now, God created you, gave you your talents. He may have even created you the desire to use those in some capacity as an entertainer. But an agent opens doors, creates opportunities, guides, supports, encourages, negotiates on your behalf, and you will never find an agent that's better than God who made you. So that's what I did. I was going to be, and also have plan B. Prepare for something you can do if your dreams to being an entertainer don't happen. Don't be heartbroken and feel you're worthless. Have a plan B and do something else, and you'll still find ways to use your talents. And so that's what I did. And so I must recommend it to any and all, that you will never have better guidance or anybody who can open more doors for you than God. That's what he did for me.
Very true. Well, it's worked out for you. But,
yes, it has.
Well, the basis of what we're doing this interview for our website is to be an outlet and to give advice for aspiring artists and songwriters along those lines. So I know you had a lot of success at Dot Records, of course, and you had the process of picking those #1 hits with Randy Wood. Can you maybe tell me what that process was like when picking those #1s?
Well, for me early, it was letting Randy Wood do it. He picked the songs. In fact, he had me record Ain't That a Shame as my second record, and I was already majoring in English, thinking I'm going to be an English teacher. So I said, can I sing Isn't That a Shame instead of Ain't That a Shame? He said, well, try it. And I said, you made me cry when you said goodbye. Isn't that a nope, cut. That's not it. Oh, it's got to be Ain't. So I went ahead and let him call the shots, thank goodness, and it was a #1 smash. But after that, only after I'd had maybe 15 or 20 hits, did I start strongly suggesting a song that I heard somewhere. One was down in the Philippines. I heard a song called Speedy Gonzales, and I kept urging Randy Wood to let me record. He said, no, you're not doing rock and roll anymore. You're doing movie themes and pop ballads and things like that. And I said, but Randy, this is a hit. I don't care who does it, it's a hit. After a year of wheedling, he let me do it, and it went to #1 faster than any record I ever had, and became, except for Love Letters in the Sand, the biggest selling record I ever had. So after that, I began to trust my own confidence, and I've written, I guess I've written and recorded some 30 or 40 songs, which I didn't intend, never thought I would do. My latest album is a gospel album, Legacy, and I wrote all the songs, the words and the music. And I think they're very singable, good music songs, because I've had such a schooling now for 60 years.
Well, that really comes from the heart, too, because it's your personal experience. So that's always special, I think, to me, when you hear an artist and it's their true experience. You've worked with the basketball team, you've done movies, you've done music. What's your favorite part out of all of that?
Well, it comes down to me as an entertainer as singing. So I enjoy recording more than anything. It's a creative process. When you're finished, you've got a finished product, and if it's good, people will like it. If not, you move on to the next.